So this is the biggest bike on our adventure test and arguably one of the most off-road capable. It's the GS Adventure Rally TE, that's the travel edition, don't forget. And it's an absolute beast. Look at the size of it. It weighs 263 kilograms wet and it's got a payload capability of 217 kilograms. Now that's the same as putting a Versys on the back of this, so if you could balance that, it would be able to take that weight. Now that's insane. But with this absolute hunk of metal comes an equally impressive price. It's £17,670, which is more than most people would spend on bikes in their entire lifetime, to be honest. But it's so incredibly capable and it makes 125 horsepower. So while it's great off-road, it also is great for motorway miles. It's incredibly smooth. That boxer engine just takes you wherever you want to go with minimal fuss. And thanks to a 30-litre tank, you can probably do about 250 miles without having to stop and fill up. Now personally, I'm more of a fan of smaller, lighter adventure bikes, and I'm just intimidated by the sheer weight of this. And I absolutely love my F850GS long-termer. But Leo's been riding this for the last couple of days, and you've taken quite a liking to it, haven't you?
Yeah, so I've ridden about 800 miles on it over the last kind of week, and it's an absolute battleship on the motorway. You just ride it and it's comfortable and it's easy and it just eats the miles and you're not tired when you get off it. Off-road, I was scared about it. But after doing some gravel tracks and taking it off-road, I kind of really enjoy it. It's much more stable than you expect because the weight's so low and it really kind of, you can get it in the gear and you've got a large range to play with. You don't have to mess around, it's just eats the gravel as well. You really get a comfortable feel when you're driving it, riding it.
Riding
really
it. Not driving, Leo. You can tell he's relatively new to motorcycling. Personally, the idea of taking something worth almost 18 grand off-road makes me shiver because that's a lot of money to be playing around with, and if you drop it, I know there are crash bars all down here, but there is exposed cylinder heads, and if you were to drop it on some rocks, for example, you can probably take one of those out, and it's not a cheap repair, let's put it like that. But I mean, the idea is that you don't drop it, isn't it? Well yeah, I mean, it's a heavy bike, and you've got to think how much it's really going to be ridden off-road. Most of these, they're going to see the M4 for most of their life. But it is nice that you can take it off-road and you can, you know, go on that gravel track and it is competent on it. It's not something you really need to be scared about because it is so stable and it is just such a big kind of block moving through. It's not a scary sort of nimbly thing. And that low centre of gravity really kind of keeps it.
Yeah, the low centre of gravity, it's just really stable. Going through the puddles, hitting little rocks, it's not wobbling around, it's just driving through them.
Yeah, and you know how capable they are because you see the likes of the GS Trophy, which I mean they went across Mongolia this year, didn't they? And that's insane, and they do all these incredible off-road obstacles on bikes like this. So if anything's holding us back, it would be our own capability rather than the bike. If you want proof, just go and check out Simon Pavey's off-road skills and you'll see that what you can do on a GS is far beyond what you'd ever expect. Now let's talk about, obviously for 18 grand, it's a lot of money. What do you get for your 18 grand? Like, well, spec-wise?
You get a huge tank, 30-litre tank, which can really take you a long way and it really fits with the big bike. You know, it's got a big engine sticking out the side and it's got a big tank to go on top of it. You get this TFT dash, which is amazing. It's really nice to look at. It's also really good when the sun's right behind you on the dash, it's still crystal clear, really smooth, the darks are really nice in it, and it's really easy to navigate through the system and check your mileage and look at the different setup of the bike.
So the electronics on this bike are superb, there's no denying it, aren't they just?
Yeah, so it's got the dynamic ESA, so when you get on it, it sets up the preload and dampening to get the bike level before you even set off. And then when you're on the road or the gravel, the suspension is automatically adjusting for that. You don't have to do anything.
And you can feel it as you go?
You can feel it, yeah, you can feel it. It really
makes a difference.
Really stiffens up when it needs to and really dampens down when it doesn't.
Awesome, and I mean the TFT dash is great to look at. It stops the sun reflecting and you can access an entire menu of what's going on with the bike at any given moment. Probably not at 100 miles on the motorway though. No. Now one thing that does strike me as quite funny about this bike is someone said to us the other day, it's like the BMW X5 is to mums on the school run. It's an incredibly capable bike, but unfortunately it's not likely to be taken off-road. It's more likely to be seen on the motorway. The M4, we see quite a lot on the M4, don't we?
Yeah, and the one thing I would say is, if you're going to get a tourer, why don't you get an adventure tourer?
See, I'm of the opinion that if you're going to get a tourer, you could get something and do this on a K1600 and be so much more comfortable. But if there is that inclination of off-road riding, then the GS8 is perfectly suited.